How McDonald's Conquered the World, the Business Secrets Behind the Big Mac. McDonald's, Behind the Arches, John F. Love. How does a simple hamburger stand become one of the most recognizable brands on the planet? That is the question at the heart of John F. Love's McDonald's, Behind the Arches, and what makes this story so fascinating is that it is not really about burgers. It is about vision, systems, and the relentless pursuit of scale. The story begins not with a global corporation, but with two brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald, who ran a small restaurant in California. They were not trying to build an empire, they were trying to solve a problem. Traditional drive-in restaurants were slow, messy, and inconsistent, so the brothers completely redesigned the customer experience. They simplified the menu, accelerated service, and created a kitchen system that functioned almost like an assembly line. In many ways, this was the first real breakthrough. They turned food preparation into a repeatable process. What John Love shows brilliantly is that McDonald's success was never built on the food alone. It was built on operational precision. Then enters Ray Kroc. Kroc was not the founder of the original restaurant, but he was the man who saw what it could become. In 1954, he visited the McDonald brothers' operation and immediately recognized something extraordinary. This was not just a restaurant, it was a system that could be replicated endlessly. McDonald's own corporate history still points to 1954 as the moment Kroc discovered the small California restaurant that changed everything. This is where the story shifts from local success to business legend. Kroc understood something many entrepreneurs miss: a business becomes truly powerful when it no longer depends on one location, one person, or one set of circumstances. He saw franchising not simply as expansion, but as multiplication. The genius of McDonald's was not that it sold hamburgers. It was that it sold consistency. A customer walking into a McDonald's in one city should receive the exact same experience as a customer walking into one thousands of miles away. The same fries, the same burger, the same timing, the same layout, the same visual identity. That level of predictability became the brand. John Love's book makes clear that this required ruthless discipline. Franchisees were not free to improvise endlessly. Every detail mattered, from food preparation to service standards to cleanliness. This is one of the most important business lessons in the book. Scale is impossible without systems. Another major theme is branding. McDonald's did not merely create restaurants, it created symbols. The Golden Arches became more than architecture. They became recognition, trust, and familiarity. Over time, the brand itself began to carry emotional meaning: convenience, speed, family, routine, and reliability. This is why the Big Mac became iconic. It is not just a product, it is a symbol of standardization and mass-market branding. Love also spends significant attention on the financial structure behind McDonald's success, and this is where the story becomes even more interesting. Many people assume the company's power came from food sales alone, but the book reveals how deeply the real estate model contributed to its expansion and control over franchise operations. This turns the story into something much larger than restaurant history. It becomes a masterclass in business architecture. McDonald's was building not only restaurants, but an ecosystem. The book also does not ignore the tensions behind success. Relationships between corporate leadership and franchise owners were often complicated, especially as scale increased and local entrepreneurs wanted more flexibility. Love notes that franchisees themselves contributed significantly to product innovation, including breakthrough items like the Big Mac. This is an important reminder that great companies are rarely simple stories of one visionary leader. They are networks of people, incentives, and evolving systems. By the end, McDonald's, Behind the Arches becomes more than the story of a fast food giant. It becomes a story about how ordinary products can create extraordinary businesses when combined with discipline, replication, and branding. Because McDonald's did not conquer the world through complexity, it conquered the world through simplicity executed at scale. And perhaps that is the most powerful lesson the book leaves us with. The biggest businesses are often built not by inventing something entirely new, but by perfecting something ordinary so thoroughly that the world cannot ignore it.